leaving things open if we wanted, so.
Right.
And I'm just gonna put a bigger gun in my desk.
So once again, I'm just asking because I didn't get to that. So originally we were going to have a break room over by the clerk because we didn't want it over by the administrator, we wanted it by the clerk. We're moving that over here.
That's when it was a shelter kitchen.
Gotcha. And we were going to have the storage be a dual storage for the code and for the clerk. Now the storage is in the clerk's office instead of, I'm just asking about that, but the storage is not directly available to the code. They've got to go through the clerk's office to get to the storage.
Well, and the code office is basically at least 2 times bigger than what it is right now, so.
Yeah. That's true.
So what he's got in his office now is going to fit in his office.
That's good, yeah.
No, I'm once again, I'm still asking good questions about this. We have the storage there for
And the
for
same thing with Meg's office, which actually I switched.
You flip these, right?
Yeah, Meg doesn't want an office that big, so, and I do.
The reason why this is shown the way as it is because there was discussion about having this as somewhat of a central area
Right.
With regard to reproduction and table, some sort of layout table.
So Jeff, do we have a different plan for those offices now? Are we going to
the
administrator's office?
I just flipped them around, but we can deal with
Well, plus there's a public window there going through your office.
I don't, no, nobody's gonna go through my office. No.
You gotta go through that front one to
You
get
have
to
to
the
go through
bathroom.
Meg's office to get to mine.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that's the plan. You gotta go through here in order to get to code enforcement or your office.
Right, that's part of the security end of things. But I either need a real big window I can jump out of.
We don't have your exit. We don't have your exit, that's okay.
Well, that was the other thing you kept talking about.
We don't have your exit.
Having a corner office, so we got you set right up.
But he can't get away.
You tie him.
You're fine with not having the door out, you're fine with not having the exit out, yours in the door.
Man, I still think we could flip those.
Well, can we make yours?
Give me a door.
You want a doorway?
No, I would just take these, and flip them this way, and take this and move it there, and give me a door into there. So you can go from my office to the community space.
You're really looking for a back door.
So I can get that.
So you don't want the office anymore.
There's a reason I have a door in my office that goes directly outside. But that's just wishful thinking.
Well, no, it's our thing.
Guys already get away with my wet bar and the jacuzzi, so.
So you keep out the back door?
You seriously get to chime in on this. Do we want to make the administrator, this is the outline, it's not the done deal. Do you want to make?
When I showed the thing to Meg says she does not want an office that big.
So, we need to make your office bigger, and we need to make her office smaller, however that works. Do you want just the only way out of your office just through hers, or do you really want it on the side so that you can do something different?
It doesn't matter. I'm a big boy, I can walk by anybody I don't want to talk to. Wouldn't be the first time.
Well, could the utility room be put to the back of the building?
Well, you just gotta have access to the utility room from this hallway. You don't want to landlock it per se.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Thanks. Yeah.
And bear with me, it's okay, but there was no utility room and any other things, so how did that come online later?
Well, we definitely needed one.
I'm just saying,
We haven't been able to, those options again were conceptual. We knew that we were going to have a utility room. And at the same time, I'll be honest with you, this whole concept about the shelter.
Yeah, that was driving the show.
Exactly.
So I see that this janitor closet is much bigger. Will that fit our needs now? Because I know that was a concern in some of the previous
Hey, you want an
plans.
office here, Tracy?
That's a big closet.
Yeah, well, again, in terms of the square footage, it's somewhat typical. Think about a mop sink, right? Some sort of cart.
Yeah, 'cause
Garbage cans, storage,
Floors.
couch, flat screen, that's a big,
Don't let they buy it
Oh, but you might
themselves.
have a,
But I know
Well,
like
scrubbing
option
equipment.
2, the room is very small.
Right. And again, you know, with those other concepts, it was trying to capture the shelter component and, you know, showing the, you know, how that was affecting the spaces that you were gonna, you know, you were
Yeah.
gonna be.
The square footage was greatly affected by the shelter.
yeah.
Alright, so do you have any more questions for us?
Other than, we would like to get your blessing on being able to move forward with this, with some tweaks here.
Right, I would say with whatever Jeff wants with his office area there.
Yeah. Go for it, Jeff.
figure a way to make it bigger and move it inside if that's what you like. That'd be
Yeah,
perfectly fine.
Drawing it.
I'm sure we'll figure something out.
Can I ask Jeff a question? I've worked in places that didn't, there's one office there that doesn't have windows. Will that have a skylight or something? Is it Meg's office?
Yeah.
His office
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, just a quality of life
Right.
workplace issue.
That's a good point.
Fish tank.
And was heating and cooling, space heating and cooling the side of the pond
Maybe.
by the board?
Big glass
plan?
roof.
We haven't taken that step yet.
And water.
So the next step, yeah, once this floor plan is set, and we really need to have the floor plan set before we can move forward, because now everything else is going to dovetail off of that.
Right. Are you okay with it for the clerk?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
Okay.
I mean, now's the time to get all this sorted out, because it's very difficult if some point in time down the road, we got, you know, someone wants to come back and change the floor plan, because there's a whole domino effect
Right.
Yeah.
that's going to occur.
Yeah, once we kick the process off, it's running.
Right. So you've heard the term form follows function, right? We're establishing, you know, the function of this building right now with regard to, you know, adjacencies and layout and security and everything that we're talking about. Once that gets, you know, established, the next part of it will, you know, be you know, building massing, taking shape, seeing what the options are of what this thing can look like, while still maintaining, you know, the form.
That's when we'll talk about windows and
Then at that point in time, you're going to see a couple of options with, you know, what this can look like, staying within your budget.
right.
If you think this is going to be a brick building all the way around, it won't be. I can tell you that right now.
Would you like a glass roof?
Solar panels.
Sushi bar.
Sushi bar,
Sushi
yeah. Off the side.
Leave that to Adam.
Stone and water.
Was that?
All right.
So I need to hear from you at some point that you're good to go with this or this and this change here, and in order to, you know, get back on schedule, we've got to get this thing locked
Yeah.
in.
Do you need a board resolution to do that?
Yeah, we can vote.
I would love one.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to do that,
Why?
because I may not vote for that.
What do you want to see different? Tell us.
Let's see the police station.
You know how I feel already, you guys don't want to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. Carl
Go
doesn't want
for
to
it,
hear it.
Rusty.
Jeff doesn't want to hear it.
I know Jeff doesn't want to hear it, nobody wants to hear it, I know the time's ticking, I know the money's ticking. I want to put the police station in instead of the clerk.
No.
The problem is if we bring the police down, we have to bring the court down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Then there's a lot of security
Blows the
changes.
You'll never be
Blows the budget, yeah, there's not enough.
What's that, sir?
You'll never be able to afford the police and the clerk, the police and the court, with the money, the funding that you have.
Are you thinking of size of the building, or are you thinking more of the type of building you have to build for the security for the police?
That'll be the functional requirements that are on the inside. New York, you know, the clerk's office, you know, in terms of what their requirements are, along with police. You're now adding at least 2 more, you know, entrances, and they have to be secure. And it's just, there's a whole slew of, you know, requirements that would come into play on that. It would definitely dump you over the $2 million mark.
Which is a same thing Carl said. Plus, we're also pretty far down the road with this plan, as far as time and effort into it.
Oh, I plan on pushing DRI to get that.
Hopefully.
So just to, I guess, to be really clear, you said you would love a resolution. I mean, obviously, for you to spend a bunch of, are you finished? Oh, I was gonna say, are you finished? I'm trying to think of like the phasing of the projects, you know. So I'm most familiar with school capital construction projects where we hire somebody like you to, for 15, 20,000, whatever it is, come up with the options, and then the board would vote as to here's the option, and then we get into now we do like the borrowing resolutions and capital vote and all that stuff. Are we at the point where it's like, okay, talked about all the options, you must pick, and that would then allow them to move forward with the rest of the actual design? If you don't pick something, and then they end up designing something, I mean, basically, and then Rusty says, you know, no, this isn't what we wanted. I mean, it's wasted money, and you guys really need to pull the trigger at some point on this. And Rusty, if you're going to vote no tonight, then that would mean a vote would fail, because there's not any more than a bare quorum here.
Yeah. We can't afford the police and court over there, Rusty. Not in the same building.
I just kind of wanted the general feel of what kind of money we'd be talking to put DPW here, court offices here, and the courtroom, boardroom, police here. I just wanted to generally, I know you don't know this stuff, but we're talking it would be way over budget. Are we talking it'd be $1 million over budget? It'd be $500,000 over budget to have to do the things we'd have to do for the police station. This
You're going to increase your square footage.
Nah, that's not what I'm thinking.
Yes.
In terms of keeping this program, you would.
Okay.
So, at $300 a square foot, right now we're 5,000, or well, we estimated 350 square foot because of how far it's got to come up out of the ground. So $350 a square foot, and then add that on to at least probably another 1,000, 2,000 square feet. You're over your $2 million, and actually no contingency.
So you're thinking more of the size and square footage rather than the construction things that we'd have to do for the police?
It's the overall size as well as what your requirements are going to be on the inside.
You think that would be significant for the police? Not the size of the...
I mean, to build a new police station, it's much different than the clerk's office, right?
Yeah, they have
that's
more
what I'm trying to find
security.
out. Is,
As far as types of windows you gotta put in and...
that's what I'm trying to get a feel for.
Plus you have to
You have
have
any comment on it,
access. You have to have youthful
As far as the
offender
police?
access, so they're not mixing in with the regular.
I've seen a lot of, look at Wayne, it's how old school made it a police station.
Department, same thing.
You what?
With
You know,
the
if you look
court
at
there,
Raven
with the
Police
whole-
Department, they took the old school, made it a police station.
A bunch of stuff that,
Even though we don't have
Not much
that now,
more
we still
security
do it.
than
We
what
have
they
to have
already
that.
put in for the clerk's office, but you gotta put in a holding cell, and you gotta put in all those other things that's not here, you know?
Probably
I
metal
mean, I would do,
detectors.
I'd rather bring them
You don't have to have
down.
it.
The clerk isn't particularly
That one's
enamored
not
of coming
on.
down.
Is it a
Police
code? You know?
need to come down, but once again,
Well,
it's
clerk is
not
hard.
doable, it's not doable.
Clerk's office is hard to get to there on Main Street.
It is a little triangle, trying to cross the
Yes.
street.
Yes. Park
We get
blocks
enough
away.
people. We get enough people. Yeah, the only thing we, problem is parking.
With the
Big
court,
round parking.
the judge has to have a way to get in there without everybody seeing them, and client, attorney rooms.
Yeah, you gotta have more
Rusty's got a drawing.
conference room.
A room for storage of the munitions. I had a tour of the police department.
Oh, yeah,
There's like a lot of stuff I never thought about. But
evidence rooms.
yes.
I asked the chief to give me an idea of how much square footage they had now, how much they would need. I did ask for those things. The reason that I'm bringing this up now, I'm not trying to send us back to step one, is that this is our one opportunity to do something. We're getting it one opportunity. If we get a whole bunch more money someplace else, DRI, whatever it is, then maybe we can build a police station, maybe we can build a fire station. There is a DRI initiative for somebody to buy the police station from us, repair it, put it on the tax rolls, Don't know whether that will go or not. This is our opportunity to move that. But maybe it's not possible, but it's important to at least consider that idea. And I know it's far along the process, but no one's really thought it through very much up till now. Maybe it's just not possibly doable. But now is the only time to,
Police station.
it's now or never to at least talk about it or say something about it.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
No, we're talking with Judge
Build out of this
Boland
building.
casually.
Yeah.
I mean, he was concerned about the security and
It's extremely low, I
like
think.
said he'd need two rooms for judge or for lawyers to meet. And
Once they can use.
he said a lot more.
For 115. They give you another 3.
I've been talking with the Gosser gentleman about the money, and basically if we don't move forward quick, get you guys answers and get you working, we run into a risk of Gosser pulling the money when we're halfway done with construction. Because there is a deadline that we have to spend that $3 million by X date.
End of 2020, that's not very far off.
He's worried if it drags out the...
I mean, we've got a good 10, 11 months for design just built that needs to be done. And then it needs to be advertised. And then you're another 45,
Right, go out to bid.
for a bidding process. Right now, what we're trying to do is shoot for construction to start a year from April.
So you're already talking 2020 construction season with stuff
Yeah.
like this. If we tried to revamp the whole project, then add another year on, which means you love those are the timeline.
So I take that back. So it was 2021 because we are looking at probably 14 months of construction. 2021.
All right. That's
So
more
ideally,
construction than we
right. So ideally, if we're starting in April 2020, another 14 months at least. You're into June, July, and then Gosser doesn't move fast with anything, so it'll take them 4, 5, 6 months to close all the payments out.
Right.
That's what this concern is.
Right.
Brian, you good with that?
I can live with that.
Jeff, you good with that?
Should we vote on it tonight, Mr. Fuller?
It's not up to me.
Mayor, you have to ask him if you should vote on it tonight.
Should we vote on it tonight?
You have to ask for a motion and then make the second.
All right.
We'll see what Rusty's gonna do.
All right.
I did have one point. We purposely made it so that on the right-hand side, we can expand at some point.
Right.
So if money were to come in, we could build a police station hypothetically.
Yes,
Okay.
that is the intent. Again, in terms of utilities coming in this side, what we're looking to do is kind of frame into this corner to minimize the amount of work that would have to be done.
For an addition.
Because you are going to have a backup generator over here, that would have to be moved. And then maybe some utility relocation, but that's relatively small relative to everything else.
And we talked with the DRI that it might be more financially feasible to build a building 6, 7, 8
Away from
feet that way, or, a different separate building.
So it's not actually attached.
Because of the security things and
That's fine.
all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And the money gets funny. This would have to be closed out and done, basically, which I don't think it will be.
Well, I think there's a lot of interest in the local committee of the DRI to do that, to move the police station and court over here.
We'll find
No.
out, right?
Well,
That's not really what we're voting on, but.
no, again.
So anyway, do we have a motion to accept the floor plan with Jeff's edits?
I would
And
make
so
a
we can
motion
get
to
these guys
accept that
moving.
floor plan.
I would second that.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Should we vote on that, Fran?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Fuller?
Yes.
Okay. And yes.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Thank you, Jim.
All right. all the hard items tonight. Next is the appoint election inspectors for the March 19th, 2019 election.
Right.
That's you.
Yes, we're having the same election inspectors we had, with the exception of Carolyn Wright, which is the best person you can have, will be out of town, so Joan Davis will step in and be the chairman. And they've all agreed to do it. I've talked to them all. We just need a motion to approve the election inspectors as presented.
Where is that? What's that look like? That's, thank you.
They like that, as you look at the front door, they like that left side better. Like
Have you looked at the front door? Okay.
Yeah, that's what we've been having the last few years. Okay.
That's the fire station, right?
Fire station, yes. Yep. So we just need a motion to appoint the election inspectors.
I'll make that motion.
Yeah.
I'll second.
So vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next item is minutes of 1/7/2019. Everybody get a copy?
Yeah.
Anybody see any problems with their minutes? Do we have any motion to accept the minutes? I'll make the motion. Anybody want to second it?
I'll second it.
There. And a vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm gonna make the motions. Next item is treasurer's report. Everybody get a copy of that? Anybody see anything crazy? I went through it. I didn't see anything too crazy.
The only thing, I've sent the Sweet Estate a letter saying we want the rest of our money. We're gonna be, we're up against it now, you're gonna use it, so I don't know how long it takes to get it.
How much?
We have, what we have left in it at the moment, where's my sweet? We have roughly $102,000.
So I'd like to propose that we allocate all of that to the EMS lines of the budget.
Okay, okay, whatever we get in, because the way the market's going, you never know how much I'm gonna get out of the 102.
That's
So whatever-
Now, that will be for what purpose?
to pay the EMS up through till when we get this figured out with them.
That is not done yet?
No.
Yeah,
Do you want to weigh in on that now, or
that's up to you.
you can?
There's some discussion with Pinsky Law Firm why was our application submitted without my approval? I have emails to his law firm saying don't send anything until we review it. I'm not even getting into the multiple reasons why our application was denied. And if I was given the opportunity to review our application, a lot of those mistakes would have been corrected. Furthermore, this board, as the village attorney, has made an agreement because of the law firm that the fire department has did a lack thereof a good job, as we all know, writing one. He had to rewrite one, which slowed the process down. The board still hasn't even agreed to that yet. So with all these negatives that have been done and against my wishes as fire chief, I've consulted with another law firm that does public safety, fire and EMS. And the conversation was an hour-long conversation, quite an interesting one, of why aren't you already billing? And I, okay. Said, let me rerun through how our department is structured up. And he goes, yeah, I don't see why you guys can't bill already through your, don't transfer your CON. And I guess the biggest thing that struck with me, without even getting into a lot of it, without talking to the village attorney about what this attorney talked to me about, is if we relinquish the power to the fire corporation, which, you know, obviously I'm the president of, but it goes to a wholly subsidiary squad board of directors. A lot of this power is given to the board of directors of the EMS. And with that being said, the village But a village resident raised a question to me of, I feel like I'm gonna be even more taxed. And then I raised the question to them of, do you know how many non-village residents we transport to the hospital through the walk-ins? But with that same notion being said, when I raised this question to this attorney, he said, if you keep the power with village board, the citizens still at least have a say because they vote the trustees in. They don't vote your board of directors for the EMS squad into office. So if you're concerned about the village residents having a say, then you keep the CON with the village of Wego as it is today.
So would the EMS would be employees of the village still?
As they still are. They would still maintain, so if we go to this different way of doing things, they lose their state retirement, they lose their village benefits, and so forth, because they're village employees today.
Yeah.
In essence, nothing would change for them. And again, there's a lot of things he threw at me in this hour-long phone call that he would be willing to freely, without charge, meet us in Ithaca, where they have an office in Ithaca. He's out of Rochester. He goes, I'll drive down to Ithaca and have a sit-down meeting with you, no charge. And I almost think that would be beneficial for us to explore all options, and especially if this is a much simpler option. But again, I want to talk to the village attorney about it. And his best statement was this, is I hate to say it, but I think you're getting bad advice for what you're looking for as the fire chief. And I don't, like I told him, I don't want to bash the law firm we've been using. I don't believe in that. But I do have a lot of things of, hey, that's not what I wanted done. That's not what I said. Why didn't you send it to me before you sent it in?
Yeah, I'm just right down.
But there's a list of things, and I think the village attorney will also agree, there's a list of things that were done on this application that this board didn't agree to, I didn't agree to. And it just, a lot of the red flags have been flying up in the air of what's up and why. And then a comment was made to me by this law firm is a lot of what they're rejecting, they have no say over, so don't even listen to them. Well, not so sure that's going to be kosher with me calling them up and saying, hey, my attorney says you have no say, so goodbye. But that's not going to help the solution. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't have a problem with being bold at times, but I also know most of the time I know when to be bold, but I don't think this is one of them.
It's also been dragging on a long time.
So, and this conversation happened on Friday, late Friday with this attorney. I briefly got to discuss a little bit with the mayor about it. I haven't even got to talk to the village attorney yet about it. And I would like to be able to talk to the village attorney about what he's saying that this board could do relatively quickly, and that he feels that we should have been doing a long time ago to preserve the sweet fund. So we would have had the sweet fund.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather, if we could preserve it, to not pay it out in salary, we'd have that available to take care of equipment, right?
That's gone now.
But again, you know, I also got to be optimistic about this. Is he trying to get our business? You know, does he have an end game, or is he just really trying to be genuine, helpful? He seems like he's being helpful, but again, that's where picking the village's attorney's brain and making sure that we're all on the same page. I think we need to just have a good discussion. Where he's coming from.
What are you saying, Rod, that it's spent already?
The sweet fund? It will be, yeah, after, we had 100, just say we had 100,000 this year.
Yeah.
Sitting there. But as of August, we did not budget anything for the EMS. Zero. They've already incurred expenses over $60,000 probably. So we have to take that from the sweet fund, and they've depleted it. Even though the fire department at one time said they will pay for the EMS, right? We don't want to get into that story, but
yeah,
the emergency squad has a nice account that we've discussed reimbursement of bills, and they've never said no. But there's no formal contract saying that they will either. I'll be honest with you, my budget's really tight, and it's this. I felt I did my job as fire chief with understanding of the squad's higher ups, that if I get the village board to agree to allow this to happen, that they can make it happen in no times. I've said this numerous times on the board, that the squad higher-ups, as I'll call them, said to me, you get the village board to agree, we've been waiting 6 years for this and we're ready to go. Well, I walked in the fire station after the village board said they'll agree to this, and I said, here you go. Here's your football at the goal line, I'm putting it in the end zone. And it seems like I'm now picking that football back up and running with it again.
They put the brakes on that.
Well, they didn't have their stuff together, and that's my opinion. My opinion is they weren't ready. And then, again, I'm trying to look out for the best interest as the village taxpayer, because I live in the village, as the fire chief, and preserving what the membership wants. The whole fire department membership, including the squad. And this attorney thinks there's a very simple solution that we should have done a long time ago.
Yeah, I'd certainly love to talk with him, obviously.
All right, so that we do need to go and ask the sweet fund for that.
Yeah, we were gonna do that anyhow, but when we started looking more into it, by the time you take their salaries and they get benefits and all this stuff, they've sucked it all
That's a
up.
lot of money.
Yeah, so it's lucky, we're lucky we have it.
Their feet long enough.
Yeah, well, we weren't even gonna do that because they said they were gonna be all done by August.
Yeah.
And then we let them go a couple months because we felt like, and then.
They haven't even voted for their board of directors yet, which is a requirement. That's not on me, you know what I mean?
No,
I am by the fire chief, the way this is drawn up in the bylaws, a default, the fire chief sits on the board of directors. But the squad hasn't even voted who
The rest of the.
who the board's gonna be, and that's one of the criteria that they balked at is who's running this corporation.
Well, does the
So,
village board have any
Nope.
say who's
Nope.
on that board?
nope.
Completely separated the way it's
Nope.
set up.
That's what this one attorney was saying is by going this route, if you're concerned about the village having a say, you're releasing all that to this subsidiary corporation.
Right.
You're putting all the power into this subsidiary board of directors that's elected by the membership of the emergency squad.
Yeah, a lot of work to do yet.
He doesn't think there's a lot of work. It all depends on if the village attorney will agree with his perspective on life here.
Sounds like you should sit down and figure it out.
I'd make a comment over our camera.
Treasurer's report.
All right, we're back on the treasurer's report.
Yes.
We have a motion to approve the treasurer's
They're always
report.
made over 12 pack.
So,
Okay.
okay, so we're gonna transfer that money.
Second,
I'll second that.
so vote on the treasurer's report,
Yes.
just as you see it.
Yes.
Did we take the official roll on the sweep money?
No.
You've already said to do that like beginning of January, but then you said back in January, they said, take what you need, but there's no sense leaving $40,000 in the little account when they charge us $10,000 a year to administer the account, so we're taking the whole thing, whatever we got left, we're gonna take it out.
Do you want to do a vote on taking,
Yeah, go ahead.
taking the entire balance?
Let's take the entire.
Transfer it to the EMS payroll.
How about the fire department's payroll? Right?
That's,
Fire
yes.
department's
Yeah.
payroll?
Budget.
Yes, because we're the village Wheel Fire Department and their employees are the fire department technically.
Yeah.
So
That's a key point about what this attorney was trying to prove.
So the motion would be to close out the sweep fund and put it in, whatever money we have, into the fire department's line items.
Right,
Fire department's line items.
for the
And
purpose
it'll
of
be
EMS.
mostly in,
But it will be-
it'll be mostly in the EMS, but
Right.
at least it's gonna go in your budget.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
For EMT salary.
Right.
So I think that's important for the sweep fund because you can only use it on.
One more time, Rodney, how much did you think we had left in
Well,
that?
102,000, but like I said, we've already spent 50, 60.
That got appropriated for the last.
Of the 102, we've already spent 60 or 70, so and every month it's like payroll.
We
And,
gotta get this figured out.
and benefits, health insurance and all that stuff, so it's double, so. We normally budget about 140,000 a year, so, we might even be short.
Move we transfer the sweep, balance of the sweep fund to the
Yep. Balance
Fire
the sweep to the fire
department's
department. Right,
EMS
Yeah.
account.
Somebody second that?
I'll second that.
Vote.
So we're gonna give the fire department the authority over this money?
I always have. It's always been in the fire department
Yeah.
budget.
It's in his
So
budget.
he's just,
Okay.
what he's
All
saying,
right.
he's putting it back in actually the account numbers are still there.
All right.
He's just
Gotcha.
putting it,
We just
now
zero
there's
it out.
zero, he's gonna put the money back in there.
But it's gonna be used for payroll?
Correct.
Pretty much
Okay.
payroll and benefits.
Yes, all right.
Okay,
Yes.
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 okay. All right, good.
Okay.
Trustee.
Question about payroll, when all this gets sort of figured out, will they come under the new payroll system?
They would, yeah, yeah.
If they stayed with the village, right?
Yeah, we'll see how we figure it out.
Yeah, at one point they weren't going to, because they were gonna go off on a completely different path, but now it might be coming back, right? Possibly.
All right,
If we can
so
build.
Our next item,
Department heads.
department head reports.
Any other comments, Dan?
Okay, anything else?
Don't start, I mean, you go ahead.
No. I just hope that the DRI has moved forward. We're looking to actually have an open house. I'd like to invite all the committee members of the DRI to come when we schedule what day that's going to be, so they can get and the village residents. I was going to reach out to you and see if your board members want to come in. And unfortunately, our department historian that knew a lot about the station, that would be great to be able to give history lessons of the station, died a couple months ago. So the whole history of the department, we can't really, but maybe you guys can help out with a lot of that history.
Call Peter.
But so that'll be forthcoming as an open house sometime probably in February. I'm not sure when the vote's going to take place with the DRI, but we want to make sure
By
that
the 1st of March.
we want to make sure we're kind of in correlation with that, because I hear it's going to be a public vote.